Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so I really wanted to discuss the job market in 2025 and this DEI, what is it? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how it affects and the impacts it has on like Black women, right? I see so many videos, especially when it comes to Black men who have no idea what they're talking about, um, discussing this situation. And there's some Black women out there who are discussing this situation with it's how can I say this? I feel like a lot of people want to see Black women as a whole lose, okay? Whether it be Black men, whether it be people who simply do not like Black women as a result of their skin color or whatever the case may be, right? I want to be very clear. I have talked about this several times about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I personally, and this is just my opinion, okay? I believe that this term has had a drastic impact on the job market and how people view Black women, whether or not Black women have earned their spot or not. And to me, that is a very big problem, okay? I live in a state where it's predominantly white, okay? Predominantly white. And a lot of the spaces, again, that I go to, not talking about social spaces, we're talking about employment spaces, have never had a Black person in their establishment, okay? Period. I think a lot of people assume that DEI means that you are underqualified. And I want to be very clear. I don't know about other states because I do not live there. But I'm going to say this. As a Black woman applying to an organization that has never hired a Black person ever is very disheartening. It's very uncomfortable. Okay. And I do believe that the DEI program, I don't know if it was a program, I don't know. But the diversity, equity, and inclusion, for those of you guys who don't understand, it has nothing to do with someone being underqualified for a position. It has everything to do with some of these companies showing that they can be diverse, that they can work with other cultures, and that they can be successful working with other people who do not look like them. As a Black woman, when I go and I apply to an establishment that has never hired a Black person, has zero history, no Black person on their website at all, it almost makes me feel like I don't want to work there. Do you understand? As a Black woman, it is not okay that we are one out of the entire office that exists. Okay? It's uncomfortable for Black women. It always has. I don't care if you met a 50-year-old Black woman who appears to be happy in her position at an all white company. It is very uncomfortable. I want to say this. It's not the fact that the people are white. It really has nothing to do with skin color, right? For me, but it has everything to do with skin color for the person that's fucking hiring me. You understand? So I understand this. Oh, well, some people are underqualified. But let me tell you, it's so funny because y'all know my situation when I was let go back in January of 31st, right? And granted, I've been doing well. It was tax season. I had opportunity. I was doing okay. Now that I'm back in the job market, it feels like, and this is just my opinion, I don't know if it's the case or not. Let me tell you guys, I've had more interviews than I've ever had. okay, in my life in the last 2 weeks. And it's almost as if everybody tells me this is the real deal. Every single person tells me they love my resume. Oh my God, they're so impressed, right? I get to the interview. Oh, we loved you. It was such a pleasure, right? Because we're laughing, we're talking, right? But it's almost like these people don't expect a black woman to show up. And I know why people are going to be like, well, race doesn't matter. It's all about degrees and merit and blah, blah, blah. Right. Unfortunately, and this is where a lot of Caucasians lose their credibility in this racism conversation, because there is racism that exists, right? There's a lot of racism that's been going down. And I can't even say it's the president. I think that people see the president as the president. And so they're making decisions based upon what they think this presidency is about. Let's put it that way. The job market has changed drastically I've heard it was for all women. I'm not a white woman, so I cannot speak to that. All I can say is the job market has changed drastically. And so when I go apply for a job, it's weird because prior to COVID, right? If I was to take that same resume and use it now, first of all, I would be considered underqualified. Okay, I want to be clear. I've applied to jobs that I can do, that I have done, that I have a history of doing. And these folks are coming at me telling me I'm underqualified. Like, I had a job where these people are like, oh, I'm only seeking junior qualifications. Well, what the fuck, man? Like, I could do the job. At the end of the day, I could do the work. I think to some degree, obviously, a junior role is not preferred just because where is the growth? Depending on the company, there's not a whole lot of growth. But in my mind, it's like, I have never been in such an overqualified, how can I say this? Applying for a job at $55,000 a year, right? In my industry, in the accounting industry and bookkeeping and stuff like that, right? I'm overqualified. My situation is I don't have the degree yet, but I've been given and given and given to these companies, right? Where I've had to put off my degree for quite some time because I've had to be at work, right? So it's very interesting how things are happening right now. I'm gonna be very, very real. It is almost scary how things are happening. And I'm thinking, okay, in my industry, a bachelor's degree is preferred. The problem with that is it doesn't mean the person knows what they're doing. It doesn't mean that they're qualified for the job. It's just the preference that the company, I think people think, okay, well, if you have a bachelor's degree, it's going to come with some sort of something. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. So my situation is a little weird in the sense that I'm like literally I'm in a weird spot in terms of like my industry, right? I know if I had a degree, it may be a little bit different, right? I try to say that here in Colorado. It may be a little bit different, but the thing is, I have the experience, okay? What I'm also learning in this industry, my industry is a little different than others, but what I'm learning in this industry is there are a lot of people who pretend to know what they're doing and they really don't know what they're doing. So like I went into an interview today where this lady's like, yeah, we hired someone to be a manager, but she wasn't a manager. And I'm thinking, well, why the fuck did you hire her? So in my industry, it's a little different. Okay. I want to be clear, right? You got to know what you're doing. It's a lot of people, I think, during COVID who kind of came in, they were ushered in. Folks were desperate to hire a person for the position. And there's a lot of people who are new coming into this accounting industry, right? Who really don't have the experience that they should, right? To be able to qualify for some of these positions. that's neither here nor there, right? I will say this. I have never in my life, I've never had, like, I'm almost to a point where it's like, well, damn, do I have to switch to a completely different industry to be hired, right? Because I've never had this many interviews. I've got an interview. I had an interview with a company, right? And I'm gonna get back to this DEI, but I'm sharing my experience with you guys. 4 interviews that I went on, the longest amount of I've never had 4 interviews in my life. I'm used to getting hired right then and there. Maybe 2 interviews, not 4. Okay. After 4 interviews, they still want references, which is fine. I gave it to them. But this has been about a month, right? Since I've applied. And these people are like, we really want you. But there are other, how can I say it? A company bought up this company, and the company that bought up the company is kind of making things a little bit difficult. Okay. And that's okay. Whatever. If I get the job, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Right. What I feel like, and this is just my personal, you know, excuse me, personal opinion, is that these workspaces are predominantly, like, again, when you look at ownership, right? It's white people, okay? Nothing, and there's nothing wrong with that. What the issue is that some of these white folk, because Trump now got in office, have zero respect for black people as a whole. Okay. It has nothing to do with black women being underqualified. Nothing to do. I know that I've talked about some of these videos where we've seen these black women in positions. You got that woman down in Louisiana right now with the Departments of Corrections, all these situations and scenarios where black women or Latino women, because it's not just black women, who are, don't appear to be what you would think that position would hold. Okay. And I understand the argument. Well, do you want a woman showing up to, as a firefighter? Like, a woman can't save you. You need a strong man. But the problem is these spaces they're not even taking on black men like that. So there's a lot of black men, let me be clear, who are out here like, yeah, so them black women were independent, right? They said they didn't need a man, blah, blah, blah. They're really using, and this is why I hate Trump being in office right now. This is why I could not vote, because it's not the standard people who are voting for these people. Like in 2020, okay, I felt like, man, I didn't feel like there was a cult behind Trump. Okay, even though there kind of was, but not really. Now it's become very cult like, right? And what I mean by cult like is there are certain types of people that follow Trump, that put Trump in the office. Okay. Obviously, Trump has his white base, his Caucasian base. Okay, cool. But this manosphere portion of shit is really getting on my fucking nerves. Okay. I am in a relationship with a black man. Okay. Regardless if I'm happy or not, I am. I've been in this relationship for about a year with a black male. Okay. The argument is that, oh, DEI, you see all these black women who are homeless, struggling, yada, yada, yada. And they casted, basically, their black men are trying to make it seem like black women just casted them aside. Black women don't want them, blah, 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 right? The argument is black women are so independent, they don't need a man. And right now, because of the market, right, black men are using this as a means to try to target black women and degrade black women and shame black women. And I really want to hone this in as a woman who's going through a similar experience, dating a black man who has, I've had a lot of patience dealing with this shit with the black man. Okay, by the way, the effect is still the same across the fucking board. It doesn't matter if that woman is married with a black man, without a black man. And I understand black men are saying, well, you know, you're losing your job and you're losing your house and da-da-da, but you said you don't need a man. I got a man. As a black woman, I have a man. That man can't afford to take care of me. That man can't afford to pay my bills or help me out, even in this situation. So when we talk about black women not needing black males, let me be clear. It's not a whole lot of black men that really surpass black women at the level that black men are trying to play it as. As a black woman, if I'm independent, right? Independent means that you take care of yourself, which you are supposed to do as an adult. That's just bottom line. Every adult should be independent, period. It wouldn't matter if she's black, white, purple, blue. It doesn't fucking matter. As an adult, if she didn't have a man to come in and take care of her, provide for her, she has no choice but to be independent. That's number one. I don't understand that argument with black men about black women being independent. You ain't taking care of her. So what the fuck do you get off on talking about her for being independent for? If you're not paying the bills, if you're not helping this woman financially, emotionally, she don't need you. And I know that men have a hard time understanding this, but it doesn't matter if she's homeless or not. If she became homeless as a black man, can you afford to take on this woman, put her up, pay for all of her needs, and take care of her financially, emotionally, right? And spiritually? Can you do those things? If not, why are we crying about black women being independent? If not, why do you even think it's okay to speak on how many black women are homeless? You're not helping the situation, so why are you talking about it, bro? I'm really not understanding these black men who don't have shit, that don't got shit, trying to downplay black women when they don't understand what's happening to black women across the board is really happening to them too. We're not separate from one another. It just so happens that the black woman happens to be black and a woman. So she's got two strikes against her, whereas you're a black male. There should be no excuse for why you can't succeed, sir. I'm just saying. So it's a lot of misinformation, a lot of degradation going into what people are talking about when it comes to DEI. Okay. Now, I still believe that companies would do better off with diversity, because what folks don't understand is, yeah, you can get rid of all black women. You can never have a black woman in your establishment, but there's been tons and tons and tons of videos, movies of how far a black woman can really take a company. Okay. It's not rocket science. Like, there's tons of studies on black women who have really done and excelled in workspaces, so much so that they had to make a movie about them. And right now, I know Taraji P. Henson did the one, what was it? The mathematic movie. I don't know it off the top of my head, because y'all, I get sick of some of these black movies, to be honest. I'm sick of being picked like these movies that kind of make us seem like we ain't shit, but then trying to give us all the credit, right? It was a movie, not The Help, but even The Help could kind of dictate that, can kind of show you just how hard of a work ethic that black women have. I think people think that when you go to work, oh, you just twiddling your thumbs. Black women have a very strong work ethic. Our work ethic is probably stronger than our counterparts because we have 10 times more to fucking prove, even when we already proved it. You understand? So these companies that are saying, okay, well, we want to get rid of we don't want no black people here. That's partially because of the biases that go on, right? The things folks see on the news, and they assume all black people are the same, just like black people think all white people are the same. It's no different. right? So now you have these people that feel emboldened enough not to hire you. The DEI program, when you look at it, when I talk to white liberals, right? White people that I know, they're fully aware that it could benefit a company to show the company that they are diverse. Again, when I go to apply to some of these companies, I get sick of seeing the same kind of person over and over and over again. That's the truth. Because what it tells me as a Black woman is my time is very limited here. Off the rip. It doesn't matter if I get hired or not. It's telling me that there's nobody in that company that can represent me, that fights for me. I have met plenty of white counterparts that are not qualified for the position. But because they are friends, because they are ass kissers, they got their fucking job. And I understand, folks, I have a hard time understanding that. But if white people were to be honest with themselves, because that's where it starts, and look at your fucking counterparts, bro, and you go to work and you're a hard worker, you know when somebody's not working hard. You know it because you're a hard worker. And low key, when somebody is slacking on the job, that low key frustrates a hard worker. I know because I've been there. It don't take race to figure that shit out. So when you got that person on the job, male or female, and you're wondering why they have their job when you're sitting here working your ass off, but this person is buddy buddy with the owner, don't do shit all day. To me, that's how people think of Black women in DEI. And I promise you, we ain't been hired to just sit around and twiddle our thumbs. That's not how that works. Black women don't just get hired because we're Black. I wish that was a fucking case. Okay. Now, I know that's the story that's being perpetuated amongst folks because it's easier to say that than to deal with the fact that racism is very much alive and real. Prejudice is very much alive and real. So we blame it on Black women. Meanwhile, white women have been the predominant benefactors of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. But it's so easy to blame it on Black women. Black women, Black women. Meanwhile, Black men are so upset that Black women are like, we're independent and da-da-da. But meanwhile, you talking about us, not protecting us. When you don't understand, as a Black man, I don't understand how you don't understand. This is where I'm having a very hard time with Black men with, because y'all voted for this shit. And I think that because, and this is just my personal opinion, Black men don't have a whole lot of responsibility in the Black community. They never have. Never. Should they have responsibility? Of course. Do they take responsibility? Hell no. As a majority, as a whole, they do not. So as a Black man, you can't possibly understand my experience as a Black woman, right? If you don't even have a fucking job. Let's put it that way. So while folks is out here talking about Black women are we're the lowest hanging fruit. We are the most disrespected on this planet, not just by other races, but by our own men. So of course, it's easy to blame it on Black women. You got a president that's got beef with Black women right now. He does. The people who brought these charges against him were Black women that he was fighting in court before he became president. And he's allowed this narrative to continue. Why? Because his base is fucking racist as fuck. I wouldn't say Trump is a racist. I can't tell. I don't have no credibility to say that. I don't even know the man to say that. But he speaks to a demographic that hate Black people, let alone Black women. and men. So I guess for me, it's very frustrating how black men could sit here on YouTube, right? Because I had to research it. I'm like, are other women going through what I'm going through? Because I'm gonna be real, I've never had an issue going getting a job, regardless of who was president. It didn't matter. So for me, this is a very new kind of environment for me as a black woman. This is a new, it's almost like shit that I don't know. It's different. The workforce is different. That's not to say that I won't get a job tomorrow, next week, a month from now. What I'm saying is things are different. And I'm kind of sick and tired. I've seen it from white people, which I'm sorry. You're out here talking about how, oh, black women weren't qualified and da da da. You don't know what that black woman got under her belt. You don't know the experience that she has under her belt. You don't know shit about that woman, but you over here running your mouth about her. What about all them white women that supposedly got laid off, right? Because DEI. I don't hear nobody talking about that. But as black men, let me tell y'all something. When I was sitting here on YouTube and I was just curious to see if anybody had a similar thought process as me in terms of the experience as of right now. And when I go under that and I check 2025 black women workplace and I'm pulling up, I see nothing but black men doing these videos of black women. And there's a few women in there too, which I don't really understand. Like real talk, if you working at the mall, you ain't got shit to say to a woman who just was working for corporate and now the corporate decide to lay her off and they ain't giving her a legitimate reason why they laid her off. Y'all are not the same caliber of women. It don't matter if she loses her job. It don't matter if the woman becomes homeless all of a sudden. You're not the same caliber of woman. So to be honest with you, I'd be damned if a black woman who ain't got shit talking to me about some DEI and how I was underqualified. It's bizarre to me how black people are so divided right now, not understanding that this impacts everybody. This presidency impacts all races, really all races. To be honest, if you ain't rich, you ain't part of this crew. That's what folks are not understanding. But I would rather justify my actions because I didn't really want the black girl there no way. Or I feel insecure because the black woman is there. So, I know I got a leg up with the owner, so I'm going to find a way to get her out type shit. This shit happens all day, every day. I'm not saying some black women are not qualified, but I just don't see the shit that you go through to get a job. Ain't no fireman, no fire. What is it? Firefighter. Then people ain't hiring you without you being able to pass a test. And if they are, that is a problem. It wouldn't matter what race you are. But I just don't see how the argument is that black women are underqualified. But the black woman was the one who got the job. You see what I'm saying? Like, the shit that you go through I know what I'm going through is worse. Like, if I was to go to corporate, I'm going through a hell of a lot more shit just to get the fucking job. So I have a hard time. I really, really do believe in this. Black women are underqualified. Like, folks just hired us because they felt sorry for us. Like, if that's the case, folks should have been hiring us. Like, okay, this ain't the only time to feel sorry for us. What COVID was it? Okay, so folks, all of a sudden you start feeling sorry for us. Black women have been struggling. We have been going through the things that we have been going through. So if COVID took folks to be, oh, well, diversity, equity, inclusion, well, then shame on them because that's not cool either. But black women aren't just getting these jobs because we are underqualified. It's just easier for folks with egos to tell themselves that. That's all. You can't, I'm sorry. A black man, let me tell you, the black man that's talking about how black women are so independent, you go try to apply to that job that black woman was at, and you tell me if she was overqualified, underqualified. Because I know half of these black men can't even get close to where that black woman is. in terms of jobs. Okay? You go apply for that shit and you tell me who's underqualified, who's best suited for the job, you or the black woman. It ain't you. So I don't really understand the hatred with black men. I think black men have this thing, and this is this. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with black men and their mentality lately. I seen a TikTok video and the dude was like, well, this is the age of the enlightened black man. And I'm like, where the fuck are y'all? Where? Because if that's the case, then black men should be creating jobs for black women to be able to work in. See, the problem is, and this is my personal opinion, it's not enough black businesses to be hiring black people at such a high rate. It's very interesting to me because when I speak to other black women, let me be honest and very clear, it seems like black women are low key on code too. Just like white people are on code right now. And I've been waiting for black women. I'm like, okay, can I just talk to one of y'all? Like, because it's almost like black women know black women are having a hard time right now. And I'm not talking about these pick-me's out here, the women that are jealous and insecure about themselves. I'm talking about black women who have been thriving and understand what it's like to live in these types of economies. I swear to you, I've been in so many places in the last couple days, right? Seeing black women where they're the only one on their job, black, right? Whether it be a sub sandwich shop or a fucking corporation, or they work from home, they're the only black woman. And so I make it a point to smile and respect that black woman because it's refreshing to see somebody who looks like me when I go to the goddamn gas station. You understand? And lately I've been seeing, I don't know what's been going on in the air because I'm not everywhere. I'm not everybody, but I have been seeing more and more black women supporting black women, bro. And I think in this economy, it has to be that way. It has to be that way. Like, shout out to the companies that are not looking at your skin color. Shout out to them. But it's a whole lot more companies now because Trump is in office, because these people do support Trump. They do follow Trump. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just think it's a perceived bias of what people think is happening. I don't think many people know diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like, I don't think they understand that. I don't even think when we were hired, that was the conversation that was being had. But I also remember telling y'all, because I'm black, I'm most likely going to get a job because of my skin color, because of the times that we were in. That's the truth. What that meant, though, is not that I'm underqualified for the position. It means that companies are doing their best to try to show that they are diverse, that they can cater to a wide range of people. White people ain't the only people on this planet. In fact, white people have become the minority. If you take brown skinned people away, and I'm talking about Mexicans, folks that try to claim as white, but their skin color clearly ain't white, right? Because they're also classified as white, but they also have the same challenges we do. So my thing is, if you take all them people out and you stick with your pale face Caucasian people, it's not a whole lot of them in comparison to all the people that look like colors. And that's the truth. So for me, I feel like white people have really gotten on code. And I don't care if they liberal, Republican. I've always said, in my opinion, liberals are some of the most racist people on this planet. Okay. It don't matter to me. This is a time, it's not a time for black men to be pointing their fingers. Your black women, this is the thing, because they went to school, right? And this is where I don't really understand black men at all, because this is an economy, in my opinion, where black people really need to start owning their businesses. We need to start banding together, building our economic power in mass. Black women across the board and black men should be, okay, what I did for corporate, I'm going to go do for myself. This is not an economy where why people don't want us, we shouldn't want them. That's the truth. The problem is the power dynamics are so y'all don't have enough. There's not enough black businesses, right? I know that being in Colorado. Maybe I need to go to a different state, and I've always said that too. But in Colorado, there ain't nearly enough black businesses. Not that there ain't even enough black people. Like black people make up a very tiny percent of the population. But this economy, if it was our ancestors, they would have found a way to do it by themselves. And where a black woman needs a black man, the black man needs her just the same. I just think black men have become very prideful. For example, I have a black man who has his own business, right? He's successful. He hasn't filed taxes. He ain't done no bookkeeping. He don't do none of that shit. He's got a girl that can do all that shit. Instead of utilizing her so that his business can get in good financial status or whatever, in compliance, he would much rather talk down to me, right? This is where black men are missing the mark. Okay, so black women are losing their jobs. This should realistically, if black men were where they're supposed to be, enlightened black man, that should be a good thing for black men. Because what that means is if you got a business, you got a woman that knows how to take your business to the next level. She was in corporate doing what? I mean, I don't know what some of these women are doing, right? I don't know. But some of these women have had higher positions than me. And everything they doing for that company, they could be doing on their own. If they had I'm sure a lot of these women have thought about it, you know. I'm not saying they haven't or have, but they have skill sets that got them in that position. A black woman with no skill sets, you're not getting in the corporate, period. It's just, I don't know what to tell y'all. I ain't getting in the corporate talking about I got some customer service experience. Like, yeah, that's cool, but what else can you do? So when we talk about women being underqualified, these women are not underqualified. They can't be. You're not getting a federal, like you go and apply for a federal position. You know your status in life. You go apply for a federal position and you tell me if you get the job. It's not as simple, I think, as people are trying to make it paint it. It's not. There is a level of racism that is very huge right now. It's a very big deal. It's crazy. So I don't think, unfortunately, I know that I'm talking to the types of men that would even degrade black women, right? And talk about how, oh, well, the black woman is independent and she don't need no man. Look at her now, haha. That's a lower class black male. That's not the black men that woman would even essentially be attracted to. That's the truth, right? It's not a mindset that I even care to cater to because it's so degraded. However, there's a lot of things that could be done to mitigate what's happening right now. And as black men who are supposed to be, so quote unquote, what they want to be leaders, but they don't want to earn the right to be a leader or whatever. I don't know what's going on. Like I'm not a man, so I ain't even trying to understand these men because it's a waste of my time, right? But this is what they be saying. They want to be leaders. They want to be providers, I guess. And at a time where corporate America is really saying, you know what, we really don't want to deal with black women. It's not just black women, by the way, right? It's not at all just black women, but it's an excuse, right? The topic is an excuse to say, you know what, we're going to get rid of the people we never wanted to begin with. That's the thing. That's really what's happening, right? Black men don't realize how much gold they have on their hands. They would rather degrade the woman, put down the woman, tear her down, laugh at her, ha ha, see, you're in my spot, not realizing that black woman, because of her skill sets, can come up again. I don't know how. Like I say, I mean, everybody's story is different. And or the black man had the means to get his own business, right? Started his own business, be successful at his own business. He could hire that black woman to do exactly what she was doing for the white man, to build his business. And that's really how it should be going. Black women got to start. I mean, I'm a little shy, so I be talking about it like, yeah, I should be building my business. It's true. Black women need to start building our own businesses. I mean, somebody's got to do it, right? Because even in Colorado, you see how disproportionate we are in comparison to the whole Colorado. So, I mean, I think DEI, this is my thing. I don't believe that everybody who lost their job is underqualified. I have a hard time believing that many people have been hired and just underqualified to do the job. And the reason why is because if somebody who was genuinely underqualified to do that job applied for the job, they would be denied. You wouldn't even get far in the interview process, right? Unless the job is really not doing their homework. But I'm telling you now, you're not working for the feds and being underqualified. That's not how that works. I took on a temp job once with a federal agency here in Denver. And I'm telling you now, I got in easier because of the job. It was like some simple stuff. It wasn't that hard, but I had to go through a lot of checks and balances to even get the temp job. So I don't think that these women are underqualified. I just think this is the excuse that America's utilizing to not be accountable for the racism that is going unchecked. Are all white people racist? No. Unfortunately, though, I mean, we don't have, because there's no honest discussion, especially in certain types of places, right? Folks have become, they want to lie and hide who they are, right? To seem like they're somebody they're not, right? I would much rather a racist person tell me that I don't like you because you black. Like, I would much rather that than all these people try to act like, oh, we're not racist. We don't see color. But then you making all these decisions based upon my skin color. And only you would know it, right? Only you would know it. So I'm just saying, this ain't the time for black men to be against black women. Right now, y'all have a gold mine. All these white men, white companies, excuse me, and I say white men because that's really who it is behind the scenes that are cutting these people off. It's not, I highly doubt it's white women like that unless the white woman is in on it, right? This is just my personal opinion. These companies are spearheaded by white males that support Trump, okay? And they believe whatever the shit comes out, anything. Like, I can't even, I'm so disappointed in this truth movement. I'm so disappointed in white conservatives. I'm like, y'all know better. Like, the intelligence that white conservatives have and the level of cult, like, there's just we gonna talk about it one day. But this DEI shit, black men, y'all got a plethora of women now. It's not white women. Y'all got black women who could be your office managers, who could do your accounting, your taxes. What else do black women do? They could be operational. Whatever these black women have been fired for, they can now take that skill set and apply it to the black community if black men had their own businesses. I'm just saying. So as black men, if y'all are not doing anything to mitigate the situation, to help your black women out, you have no business speaking on shit because you ain't shit. You understand? I mean that. I mean it. You ain't got no business. You barely got a 9 to 5. Yet you think you gonna hop on YouTube and disrespect a woman who has worked her ass off regardless. I've seen women, for folks who talk about, oh, well, they need to get degrees in something else. Women are talking about how they're the black women are talking about how they're the most educated. Do y'all know I see people in accounting positions that don't even have an accounting degree? Their position has nothing to do with accounting, right? They got a degree in English or some shit, but now they in accounting role. So this happens all the time, by the way. And I would almost assume that someone with an English degree is not necessarily qualified to be an accountant. It's all about your skill sets and how well you do the job, right? So I want to be clear. Black women are getting degrees just like other races are getting degrees. Other races are dropping the bomb. They're missing the ball when they get these degrees. They get degrees and shit that don't fucking matter, but they can still get a job and cross over into different industries simply because they have the degree. It doesn't mean they can do the job. They got the degree. So if I just got done talking to a white lady who said, yeah, my nephew came in, he hasn't done taxes before, but he has a bachelor's degree in engineering. What the fuck does that have to do with accounting? Like, I'm just saying, like, no, I mean, good for him, but what does that have to do? You know how many people are in these seats that don't have a degree in the seat that they're in? But we talk about black women as if this is not happening with white people all damn day long. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Again, I didn't know about this shit until the president became the president, to be honest. But all that's saying is, hey, we're not fucking racist. We support other cultures. We've got a wide diversity, whether it be that you're hiring a black woman, an Indian woman, an Asian woman, right? Even a white woman. I mean, no offense, to me, they don't count, but they're still women. You hire a gay dude, that shows diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not just black women, it's all minorities. It's showing that, hey, we are accepting of minorities, period. And for me, it doesn't count. White women don't really count, but I also have to recognize they're women, right? To me, they don't count because they're in every fucking role, right? They're the white man's counterpart. So of course, if the white man built the business, who else you gonna have running the show? White men understand this. White man may have a light landscaping company. He gonna find a way to put his wife in position because that's his company. He trusts his wife. Maybe the wife got a little experience in office managing, but he gonna do everything he can to ensure that she get that education to make sure she can do her fucking job. Not black men. Not black men. Black men want to sit and talk about women, black women, about how they losing their jobs. They so independent. Well, I'm a black woman who is independent. My man supports me being independent. And no offense, if I was to lose my job tomorrow or not be able to take care of myself, that man is not in position to take care of me financially, period. So if I was to say I don't need a man, rightfully so, I'm not gonna struggle with a fucking man in there in my face all day. That's ridiculous. I ain't gonna be homeless with some man, right? And he talking about, oh, you so independent. You ain't doing shit, nigga. That's why I don't need you. It has nothing to do with a woman not needing a man or a man not needing a woman. I don't need a liability. I need an asset. I need someone that's going to contribute and build my life. I don't need someone that don't work all day. I don't need you. The earth don't need you. As far as I'm concerned, is you a man and you healthy and you ain't working, something is off, something is wrong, and I don't understand your purpose in life. I don't even think a man that's not working, who is healthy and not working, shit, you better listen. I believe you need to go be fighting some wars or some shit. They need to just go kill you off or something. That's my personal opinion. If you don't got shit going for yourself as a man, how dare you speak on a woman that tried? At least she bought her home. at least she got that job. You didn't get there. You didn't even try, and you really are underqualified, sir. So y'all gotta, I'm really upset with this DEI. Like, I don't know what's going on through white people's head in this economy right now. Okay. And I'm talking about all the way across the board. I got white neighbors, right? I'll go talk to him. I don't talk to him. My boyfriend talks to him. He'll say hi because we trying to get to know my neighbors or whatever. Not trying to get to know them, but I'm new. Hello, I'm here just so people know. Like, just in case something you need something, here I am. Vice versa, right? We neighbors. It should be friendly. You know how many people we said hi to that just act like we ain't said shit to them? That's disrespectful as fuck. But if I was to go off on you for disrespecting me, then I'm wrong because I'm black and ghetto, right? So there's a lot of racism in this right now. And I cannot, it's hard because I don't believe the president himself is racist. That's just my personal opinion. I've never believed that. But I do believe he's not stupid. You have to speak to somebody. Kamala's base was what? Black women. His base is a different kind of white person who took DEI and ran with it and then tried to paint this false narrative that black women are underqualified. That's not the case. That means that there are a lot of employers that made a decision. Because what does that say about the white people who put them women in power? That means that people probably should be fired too, if it was my opinion, because how you hire the wrong person, how that many white people hire the wrong person. Explain it to me, Sway. That means that it's a lot of white people that hired the wrong person, an underqualified person. And if you're the one sitting in that seat and you hired these people, you should be fired too, right? Because that's part of your job, is to hire the right candidate. So I understand certain positions. If I was in a fire, I don't want no woman at all coming to save me. That's the truth. Okay. That's just a personal bias, though. I can't say that women can't lift me, right? I believe a man can. I believe a man could do it easier than a woman, right? But that's not to say that woman did not go through them tests and pass that test, right? And do everything she was supposed to do to get that job. I'm not saying, now some of these institutions are very corrupt. I'm not saying that some folks ain't been hired because folks know so and so, but that happens in any community that you're in. It happens amongst whites. There's plenty of white people that done got the job because they know so and so, because they friends with so and so. That actually happens more often than not. I want to be very clear. And that's not, I want to be clear. Black women are not getting in these spaces because we're likable. That's the truth. Like, some of us are more likable than others, but folks ain't putting us in these spots because they like us. Like, that's not how that really works unless we really know some people like that. Black women are very much qualified to be in the positions that we're in. The problem is we are in positions where there is nobody that looks like us, that understands us, that understands our hair, our struggle, who we are, period. I may have different mannerisms than the white girl next to me. If she ain't never been around my mannerisms, she ain't gonna understand me. She gonna think I'm, whatever. And I'm not saying, I'm just giving y'all an example. That's not the case necessarily, because people say they love me. But I just think that if you've never been around a black person, and that's the problem with a lot of these white people, no offense, they've never been around black people. And they go off what they see or that one bad experience. And it's so easy to put us all in this group that we don't all belong to. So black men, it's not the time for black men. This is the time for black men to low-key capitalize. If black men are smart, right? They would get their shit together and put their women in position to win so that the woman would be more willing to lift him up than trying to tear her down when she's in a low spot because of an economy that this black man helped create. This economy ain't for black men, it ain't for black women. It ain't for black people. I want to be very clear. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about how the black person will become second class citizens. So while black men are all rah rah for Trump, Trump is over here preparing a whole thing for black men. Y'all don't understand this. They gonna be start shipping black men that don't got their shit together overseas. Black men who want to cause chaos, and it's not just black men. I want to be clear. This ain't a racial. I know that his base is racist, but it's not. The problem is America somehow is still stuck in this race paradigm, not realizing that it's really the rich against the poor. This is not this type of presidency that we have has, I mean, they're giving you the illusion of racism, but these people don't give a damn about none of us. White, black, pink, purple, blue, it don't fucking matter. If you are not one of them, the 1%, you are of the 99%. So while folks it's us versus them, folks have no idea that it's all of us. Race don't matter. That's why we used to say this all the time. Race don't fucking matter. But it matters to those who want to still play this stupid game because they have power, right? And these folks only have power because they're smart enough to have their own businesses, right? They use their community to build their businesses, right? Up. If I was a black woman, y'all know I worked in an all Mexican place. Still, I mean, y'all know, Mexican firm. And I don't mean to say Mexican firm, but that's how it turned out. He got a couple whites in there. This is predominantly Mexicans up in there. And I, as a woman, as a black woman, as a minority, I had to, I was really kind of, I'm still like, I hate being the only black person in these establishments. Not to say that I'm gonna talk to the other black person there, because we may not even be the same, really. But it's the principle. But this man started his company and now he gives back to his own people. He hires people from Mexico to do the work here in the United States. So as a black woman, I'm like, man, wait till I get to that point. Like, my business has doubled this year by the grace of God, but it's not enough. Right. And I'm shy. I'm not a salesperson. I'm very much, I've got an accounting type personality. Okay. I could do sales when I was forced to do sales. Like, that's all I did at one point. And I was good at it because I can be your friend for like 5 minutes. I can't do it for longer if I really don't like you. So I used to be, kind of like, damn, that's all you hire, like, in my mind. But I always had to check myself because he's brown just like me. And if you think for a second, as a black woman, if I had the capital that some of these people got, if you think I'm hiring an all-white staff, no, that's not happening. The problem with black people, and this is the issue with black people, and I understand white people's concerns about black people and shit, but not all of us are the same, right? Just like not all of y'all are the same, right? I'm not gonna let you talk to me crazy. You ain't about to walk all over me. You better treat me with the same respect you give your counterparts, right? But outside of that, most black people, I mean, especially in certain industries, are pretty chill. They're used to the professional life. They're used to having to bite their tongue and all this extra shit that comes with being in corporate. It's not like we don't know how to behave or act. But even as a black woman, if I was a black owner, I would be very skeptical of the black people I hire. Why? Because of where we're at. But as a black owner, I would try to build my people up. That's the difference. That's the difference. Just like the white man with that corporate position, the one that owns the company, he gonna lift his people up. This lady told me what was it? Her stepson had an engineering degree. You have an engineering degree. Why the fuck are you taking my seat? Why aren't you somewhere in engineering? I don't know what they do, but whatever you do, go there. But because that's her stepson, she gave him a position. Do you understand? And he was allowed to build himself up to be able to do tax returns and shit. Completely two different lines of work, but he's in there because she took the time to build him up. That's her business. She can do as she pleases. Do you understand? So I want to be clear. If black women ain't on code, this is the code. Like, as a black woman, you still need a job. You still got bills, right? It's not easy for all of us to say, you know what, we gonna quit our jobs and go full time into business. But as a black woman, if you worked for the feds, you're doing a level of work that somebody will hire you to do on your own. That's a fact. Black women, if you've been in corporate, you've got skill sets that people will hire you and pay you for off the rip. And I'm not talking about fucking customer service. What we do is a little bit more than customer service. Okay. So you start there. For the black men that are so upset that black women don't need them, and now you see them homeless and struggling, first of all, you better have your shit together. All these videos, like I be wanting to call these niggas out, and the problem is, I don't know these people. I don't want to know them because all they gonna do is give me a headache. Okay, they're a waste of space and time. No offense, but if you're a man speaking down on a woman and you don't even have your life together, like I'm talking about really together, you can't be saved. Like there's no saving you. Like that's crazy to me, right? But if black men want to help, because there are black men with businesses, there are one man shows, black men, who are striving to get their shit off the ground. Hire a black woman. Hire her. Hire the black woman that got fired. If you don't want to hire, that's cool. Go hire you a white woman or somebody. I don't know. But I'm just saying this is an opportunity. It sucks for black people right now. It's a little harder for black people right now. But at the same time, there's so much opportunity if black men understood the opportunity. There's so much opportunity. We are behind. What do they say? The black people are behind in the race of races or whatever. It's because we don't have nothing. We don't have shit to show for shit. And I'm telling you now, even if I was homeless, bro, I don't need you. Unless you protecting me from the big bad wolf, homeless or not, I still don't need your ass. If you ain't got shit to show for shit, I ain't got nothing. I don't need you. If you ain't gonna help me without hindering me or trying to hold me back or sabotage me, I don't need you. I could lose everything I had today, right? And get it back tomorrow by myself. I don't need you. But if you're there, if you have an opportunity and you're genuinely coming from the heart space, not no power trip, I'm trying to walk all over women and treat them any old kind of way type shit. Black men, this is y'all's opportunity to really excel because you have black women who are sitting on skill sets that people won't hire them for because of their skin color. You understand? So this is a weird time, and this is not a time for blacks to be divided. Really, unfortunately, it's not really a time for blacks or whites to be divided, but that's how white people want to play the game. So black people have to play ball with it. We got to understand what time it is. So this is just my opinion, man. Again, this is my thoughts on a lot of things. I've been seeing a lot of things. I think black women understand the assignment a little bit more than black men, right? In the sense that, especially black women that have their head on their shoulders. I'm not talking about black women that are ghetto and not doing what they supposed to be doing and out here running the streets and being crazy and shit. There's two types of black people, just like there are several types of white people. Y'all all ain't serial killers, right? You don't want me to label you as one. Y'all all ain't rapists and shit. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So I just think it's time. Black men, I mean, this dude on TikTok said it was the time of the enlightened black man, and we over here waiting. We're waiting. Black women have been waiting. Y'all over here talking about women's wigs and weave and all this extra shit that don't fucking matter. Right now, black people are in a crisis. And when it happens to your black women, you can best believe it's already happening to black men. It's not even a question of whether or not black men are being treated a certain way. It's guaranteed because it came to the women. We're the lowest hanging fruit. The women are. So if it's happening to us, they already got y'all. So I just, my prayers go out to black women right now, man, because it's hard and it sucks. And I be wanting to apologize for all the degradation that we have to be we have to be the brunt of, right? But I also think it's a time for opportunity. It's a time for black people to come together. It's really a time for all people to come together. But right now, folks is trying to be on their racist, we pro-Trump shit. And that's okay too. This is why we have ancestors, right? Y'all seen what happened with the plantation down in Louisiana. I didn't, to be honest with y'all could tell I'm from the North. I had no idea there were still plantations standing. Like, I knew they were existed like for like museum type shit, but I didn't know like they had them full blown, like black people still working on the plantation. Like, that's kind of scary. And to see how these people acted when that shit burned down, they talking about, well, what about our weddings and shit? That's pure racism. What the fuck do you want to have your wedding at a plantation for? Okay, so the structure of the building is nice, but it was a fucking plantation. Like the fucking, like, I don't even want to visit a plantation. Like, I don't even want to go to remember my so-called ancestors. I don't care. So it's obvious racism is still here. It's still here. And it's more rampant than it has been in a very long time. It's almost like white people got the green light to be racist. So they all being racist right now. Every last one of them. And this is why DEI was necessary. Because these folks will not change. They don't want to admit that they're racist. They can't change. How can you change if you don't even want to admit that you got an issue? Because they live in a society that supports their bullshit. But I'm gonna tell y'all now, that shit's changing. It's changing. It's gonna take a while. It may not happen in my lifetime, but it's changing. Shit's about to change. So black people need to get it together. That's all I'm gonna say. The DEI has nothing to do with a woman being underqualified. And honestly, I don't think any of us knew what DEI was until Trump became in office. I do believe that it makes sense for businesses to start showing that they are diverse because there's only so many people who look like white people are really the minorities right now. It helps to show that you're not like the same. I don't want to go and apply for your job and then be thinking in the back of my mind like you racist as hell. That's really uncomfortable for me as a black woman. But I also recognize that it's a choice, right? I don't have to work for you. I mean, I need to work for you because you're the only one offering the job. You're the only one with the businesses. But if black people got their shit together, we wouldn't have to go through shit like this. Your black woman wouldn't be homeless as a result of some DEI because you naturally gonna hire your own people anyway. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. With that being said, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. I'm out. Peace.